Hello, hello. It is the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger, and I'm going to start popping in, every morning, maybe every other morning, to give you some podcasting pointers. That's right, you know me as the DE Diva, but I'm also a podcasting coach, and I offer a 5-week coaching session to help you get from idea to launching to monetizing your podcast. And I'm actually going to be speaking at the Black Pod Festival in the ATL during the Memorial Day weekend. So if you're interested, I'll leave the link so you can get your tickets because I am looking forward to that. I'm going to be talking about promoting your podcast via social media. But today, I just want to pop in and let you know that I do have the Podcasting Your Purpose Resource Guide edition number 2 available for sale, which I will also leave the link for. But if you're thinking about starting a podcast, because, it's very hard these days not to hear someone saying, follow my podcast, listen to my podcast, subscribe to my podcast, and you're thinking to yourself, I should start a podcast. Well, if you started thinking that you should start a podcast, then guess what? You should start a podcast because podcasting is a very powerful medium. It's a great way to broaden your brand and expand your exposure online. It also helps to leave a legacy. I like living a legacy, whether you're leaving that legacy for your family, for your friends, for your coworkers, for generations to come, because we all know that we have something to share, right? We're all good at something. People may say, wow, you really talk about that a lot, or wow, you really know a lot about that. Well, why not turn that into something that you can share with not just your close friends and family, but hundreds, thousands, maybe even millions of other people. So let's think about this. If you wanted to start a podcast, you'd obviously want to choose a topic that you're very familiar with or that you're very passionate about. And remember, you don't have to be an expert because each and every person experiences things differently. I grew up in New Rochelle, New York, so my experiences from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s are going to be much different than those that weren't born until the 90s. So I may look at things through a different lens. But that doesn't mean that I can't share my experiences with you just the way someone who was born in 92, like my son, can as well. So think about it. If you're an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, what I like to call a side hustler, and you want to add on to your current marketing. Social media is great: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. These are all great ways to continue to spread your message, to use, your marketing strategies. But a podcast is also a great strategy to add to your marketing toolkit. So let's think about this. You have a business, you have a brand, and you want to share. If it's a service like podcasting or blogging, you can always create a weekly podcast helping people, providing tips and trends, and also offer that extended services, i.e., Podcasting Your Purpose 5-week course, or heading over to Blake's Booth Podcasting Studio in Middletown, Delaware. Think about it. If it's a topic, again, say you want to not do a professional podcast, but you want to do a personal podcast. You want to share about life. You want to share about travel. You want to share about cooking. You want to share about fashion. You just want to share. Podcasting is a perfect medium in which to do so. So think about that why you want to share, your voice, because hey, guess what? Everyone loves to talk. Not everyone wants to be on camera. Not everyone, feels comfortable speaking in front of others. So why not just, set up a podcast in your walk-in closet, right? You can be in your walk-in closet. You can create a fort, take two chairs and put a comforter over it. You can start with your smartphone, right? You have that. Everyone has a smartphone. You can start with free. And I always say dibble first before you jump deep dive into it. You don't want to go out and buy all kinds of equipment, you know, everything that you think you're going to need, everything that you think you're going to want, everything that you may not even want to continue. But you got to be in it to win it. So just simply use your smartphone. Most smartphones today have very good microphones and have very good audio, right? Recording apps on it as well. So start with your smartphone. I'm team Android, but if you have, iOS, if you're an Apple user, that's great as well. You can use free software for editing, Audacity or GarageBand. You can record on Zoom. You can record on CleanFeed. There are so many different ways in which to start a free podcast. And let me tell you, I started my podcast, my very first podcast, actually still the Delaware Blogger podcast, but in 2017 on Anchor FM. It's a free platform. It was free then and it's free now. So Anchor FM is a great way in which to start your podcast. So in your head, you're thinking, what am I going to talk about? That's what you need to brainstorm. A brain dump. Like, what are all things that you're good at? You're good at more than just one thing. So just dump it all out. Or perhaps you're already a speaker and you want to reach a bigger audience, especially now since, COVID is it's lifting, but you still can't go and be what you want to be. So turn those presentations into a podcast and break them up. Are you a TEDx talker? Hey, speaking of TEDx, yes, I am going to be interviewing 28 TEDx Wilmington speakers on the 30th of April, coming to the Mill here in Wilmington, Delaware. So if you haven't gotten your tickets for TEDx Wilmington for April 30th, make sure you do so. And then stay tuned for the podcast, the TEDx Wilmington podcast that we're going to be creating so that you get to learn a little bit more about each of the speakers. So again, this may be a new experience for them, but it's definitely not going to be a new experience for me because I love podcast hosting. So, you know your topic? Thought about it? You know your why? Thought about it? And please don't say you want to start a podcast just to make money, because I'm going to tell you, don't quit your day job if you have one. You can monetize a podcast. Yes, you can blow up and you can be, famous. But starting out, it's about the give back, There's something that you have. There's something that you have. There's something that you have that you want to share with others. That will be your why. So that's today's tip. When you're thinking about starting a podcast, think about your why. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you have in your heart, in your mind? What is it that you want to talk about? And what is it that you can talk about for a long time to come? Because you're going to be in it to win it. You're not going to fade away after the 7th episode. You're going to have a topic every week. That's right, every week. So 4 topics a month, 15, 20 minutes maximum, and just talk about what it is that you want to talk about and then formulate it. And we're going to talk about creating that show, naming that show and setting that show. Is it just going to be you and me? Is it just going to be you talking to a microphone, or you're going to have guests? Will they be calling in? So next week we will talk about naming your show and formatting your show. And if you want to do a deep dive, longer than this, then you need to sign up for the 5-week coaching session. So send an email to me, info@ablakeenterprises.com. Set you up for a 15-minute discovery call, complimentary. Just talk about what it is that you want to talk about. And then when you're ready to sign up, you know where to find me. But in the meantime, in between time, every Saturday at 10 a.m., a new episode of the Delaware Blogger podcast is published on Buzzsprout, but you can listen to it wherever you are getting your podcast from. And check it out because I'm dropping podcasting pointers there each and every week, and also here on my YouTube channel. So enjoy the beautiful day. It's going to be a gorgeous day because every time you wake up looking up, everything else is gravy, baby. Have a beautifully blessed day. See ya. It's the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger, wishing you and yours a beautifully blessed day. Bye-bye.